The Super Bowl is here. The preview for Beef Up Front is live. Ryan Coyle, Kevin Cannon back for another Super Bowl preview. A little less excited for this one than last year's with the Eagles and the Chiefs, but still a really interesting game. I think anytime we get a Super Bowl matchup with two teams coming into the year that we definitely didn't expect this to be the matchup. Maybe some people had the Seahawks, maybe a person had the Patriots. But these are two teams were not on a lot of lists when you saw 50 to 100 people predict who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Maybe one or two had these two teams on. So kind of cool to see that. Seahawks, obviously a crazy season, getting the 1 seed in that really competitive NFC West, and the Patriots dethroning the Bills in the AFC East, not playing the hardest schedule, but still finding a way to win each and every week. Drake May, second-year quarterback, first-year head coach of the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, and here they are in the Super Bowl after their long run, a few down years, and here they are back again, looking like they're ready for another run. So a lot of storylines, obviously a rematch of a game that one of the crazier Super Bowls we've ever seen. I'm excited for Sunday, Kev, but welcome back. How are we? And bittersweet that this is the last episode of the season.
Yeah, definitely a little bittersweet, but like you said, I'm super excited for Sunday as well. I think it's going to be a super fun game, a lot of different headlines, and also, like you said, probably not like what people thought in the beginning of the season. Obviously, as an Eagles fan, very disappointed this year, but still looking forward to Sunday, one last football game, and then kind of the worst part of winter comes.
Yeah, got a few weeks till March Madness, and yeah, it's a little downtime coming up, and you got to find something to do on Sundays to occupy yourself. So that's always the biggest task. But all right, Sunday night, we got the number 1 seed Seahawks out of the NFC at the number 2 seed Patriots. 6:30 kick out there in Santa Clara at the 49ers Stadium, Levi Stadium, I believe is the name. Seahawks 4.5-point favorite, over under 45.5. We'll save our official pick for the end, but we're going to run through our favorite first touchdown scorers, a touchdown parlay between the two of us, our favorite passing prop, favorite rushing prop, favorite receiving prop, and our favorite random prop as well. So, Kev, we'll start with our first touchdown score. I'm going to go to the Seattle Seahawks side. I'm going to go to A.J. Barner at 12-1, tight end for the Seahawks. It's been a really good weapon in the red zone for them all year. You look at the defense of the Patriots, Christian Gonzalez, one of the best corners in the league. I assume that they're going to try and shadow JSN with him as much as possible, try and take him out of the game. Is that possible? I don't think so. Maybe you can find a way to limit him, slow him down a bit, but JSN's still going to get his targets, still going to get his catches. And their strategy might just be, let's not let him beat us. Let's not let it get over the top. And you might be able to kind of open up the middle of the field there with A.J. Barner at 12-1. Another interesting stat I saw this year, A.J. Barner has 6 rushing attempts. So when they've gone tush-push, quarterback sneak type thing in short yardage, A.J. Barner's actually been the guy under center getting the ball. And especially with Zach Charbonnet out, he's been their short yardage, short distance back all year. A.J. Barner might get a carry on the 1-yard line, and he has the potential to get in there. So A.J. Barner, 12-1, first touchdown. That's going to be my play.
Yeah, my first TD, I'm going with JSN 5-1 plus 500. I bet him to win MVP, so this is kind of me just hoping this happens. But like you touched on, he's a high volume receiver, so he's always going to have a shot at a first touchdown. He did it twice this year, 10 touchdowns in the regular season, so 20% of his regular season touchdowns came on first TD scorers.
Yeah, and I think too, when you look at JSN, like if Christian Gonzalez is going to be matched up on him a lot, you have the chance at least at the beginning with the scripted plays where it seems everyone's able to move the ball easiest. You have to figure a handful of those are going to involve JSN. So we both go with Seahawks there for our first touchdown score. We'll go to a touchdown parlay now where we each picked a touchdown score from each team. So a little 4-leg parlay, make things interesting. Kev, give me your first leg for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm first leg, Seahawks, Kenneth Walker, minus 195 with no Charbonnet. He's the clear number 1 back in the NFC Championship game. He had 19 carries. No one else had more than 3. I think he finds the end zone.
My touchdown score for the Seahawks, I'm going with my first touchdown score, A.J. Barner, plus 230. Since this matchup came out, he's been a player that I've had my eye on. I really like him to find find the end zone, plus 230. I think the Patriots defense is going to do everything they can to limit Jackson Smith and Jigba. They're going to throw two guys at him. They're going to have Christian Gonzalez follow him as much as possible. They're going to say basically, let somebody else beat us. If we're going to lose, let it be Cooper Kupp. Let it be AJ Barner. Let's not just get beat by JSN going for 12 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's got to be someone else. I think AJ Barner kind of reaps the benefits of that. So AJ Barner at plus 230, anytime touchdown for my Seahawk leg.
My Pat's leg, I'm going Drake May plus 270. He's shown an ability to get plays, first downs with his legs. Maybe he gets in the end zone here. Big games often come down to a QB just making plays with his legs when no one's open. So Drake May plus 270.
Yeah, I think to all the Super Bowls we've seen Mahomes in, push comes to shove on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. He's going to use his legs to get a first down, to extend drives, hell, even on 4th down. And we saw Drake May do that a couple of weeks ago, too, to seal kind of the AFC Championship game. So, like that pick there, my final pick, I'm going to go to the tight end as well for the Patriots, Hunter Henry plus 240. I think both these teams have really strong secondaries. Devin Witherspoon, one of the best corners in the league as well. Tariq Woolen has had his moments as a really good corner. He's been a little bit more up and down, but I think where this Seahawks team has the potential to get beat, especially with their rookie standout safety, Nick Emenwari, I believe is how you pronounce his name, one of the Rookie of the Year finalists on the defensive side of the ball. Got hurt in practice this week. Is he going to be a little bit limited? It sounds like he's going to play, but I think if the Seahawks defense can get beat, it is kind of over the middle of the field, and I think Hunter Henry has shown he's been a really reliable target, especially in the red zone for Drake May this year. So Hunter Henry there at plus 240, and that's a juicy parlay that we cooked up. You took Kenneth Walker with the best or the highest odds at minus 195. But after that, we got a plus 240, a plus 240, and a plus 270. We got a 70 to 1 parlay there. So $5 on this pays out $355. You want to get crazy and put 10 on it, you're getting about a $700 payout. So it's a pretty fun bet to roll with. Super Bowl Sunday, I'm definitely going to be placing it. Hopefully we were able to cash this one. So let's roll on to, we're going to go through our favorite passing prop, favorite rushing prop, and our favorite receiving prop. Favorite passing prop, I'll start us off there. I'm going to go with Drake May, under 224.5 yards. The one that you're going to get into is the one I was eyeing up, so I'm going with another one here. I think the Seahawks secondary is a really strong unit that I touched on. And Drake May, shoulder injury potential. Those things have been rumored. Can the Seahawks pass rush get after him and hit him, disrupt that shoulder maybe even a little bit more? Drake May, let's be honest, let's call a spade a spade. The defense has done a ton of the work for them in this playoff. The Chargers offense didn't do anything. As we know what the Texans offense looked like against this Patriots defense, and then Jared Stidham and that Broncos offense wasn't really able to move the ball. Drake May hasn't had a great playoff. If they were forced to kind of win a shootout in one of these games, they probably would have lost because May hasn't really played his best football, and that could be attributed to an injury. But under 224.5 passing yards against this really strong Seahawks defense, I really like that because I'm expecting this to be a close game. If you're expecting more of a Seahawks blowout and the Patriots are going to have to throw from behind a ton, then I definitely don't like this bet. But if you're like me, expecting this one to be a pretty tight ball game, Drake May under 224.5 passing yards is a prop I really like in the passing department.
Yeah, my favorite passing prop is Sam Darnold, over half an interception, minus 138. Even in his really good years, the past 2 years, Darnold's still prone to turn it over. He had 14 this year, 12 last year. The Pats defense has been playing really well in the playoffs here, so I think they're able to get Darnold for an interception.
Yeah, I really like that one too. That's something I'm going to be throwing in for sure. All right, favorite rushing prop. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker, 19 plus carries at minus 120. We touched on it. AJ Barner obviously out. Sam Darnold is a quarterback that doesn't really look to use his legs much, and we kind of talked about it too. AJ Barner maybe gets the short yardage work instead. I still like Kenneth Walker to get a lot of carries. I think the Patriots defense is going to be a little bit more challenging to throw on. Kenneth Walker has had a really nice playoffs so far, and when he is like a workhorse back, he proves that he can be a guy that can handle 20 carries and get you 100 plus yards and get a touchdown. He's got the potential to have a really big game in this one if the Seahawks decide to lean on him. Last game of the season, no point to save him, to kind of keep him fresh. 19 plus carries. I think we could see him get over 20, especially if the Seahawks are winning and looking to run out the clock. He's going to be the guy that has the ball in his hands. You don't have to worry about Charbonnet stealing any touches there. So Kenneth Walker, 19 plus carries at minus 120. I really like.
Yeah, I'm going with the Kenneth Walker prop as well. I'm going under 14 and a half, minus 110 for his longest rush. The Pats' run defense is very, very good, and I agree with you. I think Kenneth Walker does get a ton of touches, ton of chances here. I just don't think he breaks out for a really big one, kind of just 3, 4 yards here and there, wear out the Pats' defense. But I'm going under his longest rush yard at 14 and a half.
All right, over to our favorite receiving prop now. I went for a little bit of an off the wall one, kind of a unique one, but it's Jackson Smith and Jigba most receiving yards that he has in the game in the fourth quarter at plus 340. I think this is a really close game that kind of comes down to potentially who has the football last. And I think if the Seahawks have it last, have to go down the field and score a touchdown or get into field goal range, I think JSN is going to get peppered with targets, and he's going to be the focal point of that drive, obviously. So JSN to have his most receiving yards of the game in the fourth quarter, I really like that. I think he could get on one drive alone 40 to 50 yards if they're having to go kind of the length of the field. So I like him to have a big fourth quarter and potentially score like the winning touchdown down the stretch, and that's going to be key to winning this bet. So JSN most receiving yards fourth quarter plus 340.
Yeah, my favorite receiving prop. I'm going Cooper Cup over 3.5 receptions plus 127. He's been pretty quiet in the playoffs, but he has a ton of experience and history in the Super Bowl. I think he has like 4 or 5 catches here in this game for 60 or 70 yards. So I'm going Cooper Cup over 3.5 receptions.
All right, and then our favorite random prop and off the wall type prop. I found this one on DraftKings. It's a pretty funny one with the history of these two teams matching up in the Super Bowl, and obviously what happened the last time with the Malcolm Butler interception. But this prop is the Seahawks to throw a pass on the 1 yard line or inside the 1 yard line. So if it's at the half inch line, whatever, plus 550. I really like that. You could go out and first and second down on the 1 yard line, hand it to Kenneth Walker and get stuffed back to the line of scrimmage. And then you could come out, look to do it again, and simple pop pass out into the flat to AJ Barner, or even a shotgun play where JSN's coming across the formation and you throw it to him in the flat. Something there. And with all the way Mike McDonald's been talking about, like, oh, I would have given it to Marshawn Lynch. I would have given it to Marshawn Lynch on the one, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we see him kind of come out and do something off guard. Plus 550 to just basically throw a pass inside the 1 yard line. I think there's crazier bets out there that you can make. And it was also 11 to 1 for it to be a touchdown. So those are two kind of random props that I like and definitely going to be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, my random prop is the fastest ball carrier being Rashid Shaheed at plus 130. We all know he can absolutely fly. He also gets the ball on punts, kickoff, so he gets a chance there. And then obviously in the receiving game, even in the running game, he can get involved a little bit. So I'm going him as the fastest ball carrier in the Super Bowl.
All right. There was also a few other kind of fun ones. They're doing Amazon next gen stats for like over under miles per hour for the ball carriers as well. So that's a fun one. I've seen people kind of eyeing up too. But all right, to wrap it up, we'll do our final game prediction: winner, loser, cover the spread, over under, and then the MVP as well to tie it in. So I'll start us off. I'm going to go Seattle to get a Super Bowl victory here over the Patriots, 23-20. Pats plus 4.5, under 45.5. I think 4.5 is a lot. I definitely think this game's more of a coin flip. Probably should be closer to a 2.5, 3-point spread in favor of Seattle. What does Drake May look like? I think is the biggest thing. Is he able to step up and be the quarterback that we've seen all season, be the potential MVP of the league? I think that's going to be announced shortly here, recording on Thursday night. What does he look like? I think that's the biggest determining factor. And does Sam Darnold have 2 or more turnovers? I think those are the two kind of big things. If Darnold has 1 turnover, he threw 14 interceptions this year, I believe you said it, and we saw them go all the way to the Super Bowl. They've shown they can get past with some turnovers from him. If he has 2 or more, though, are they able to get past that? This is a Patriots team that I don't really think hurts themselves, doesn't really shoot themselves in the foot. They take pretty good care of the football, are well coached, don't get penalized. So those are the 2 things I'm looking for. How does Drake May look? Is he healthy? Is he able to really air it out and hit on a couple of those deep balls that we've seen all year? And then the Seahawks, if Sam Darnold has 1 or more than 1 turnover in this game, I think that's kind of the determining factor. But I think this one to be really close, kind of back and forth. I think we could see it going into the fourth quarter, like 17-17, and maybe come down to who has the ball last. So I like the Seahawks to win. Sam Darnold gets a Super Bowl victory. Don't think I ever would have said that. I was never a big fan of him coming out of college. and made me look right over the first 5 or 6 years of his career. But hats off to him. He's really rewrote his career. If he goes out there, get the Super Bowl, it's one of the cooler kind of turnarounds that we've seen in sports in the NFL in a while. So give me the Seahawks 23-20, Pats plus 4.5, under 45.5, and I'll roll with JSN as my MVP at plus 500. I think he catches a late touchdown, has north of 100 yards and 8 or 9 catches in this game, gets Super Bowl MVP. I don't think Darnold puts up great numbers. I think they do hand it off to Kenneth Walker a lot, kind of try to limit the mistakes, let the defense do what the defense does for Seattle. But JSN makes a bunch of key timely catches, extends some drives, and gets the game-winning touchdown, gets that MVP at plus 500.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you on everything. I'm going Seahawks 27, Pats 21. So the Seahawks do cover the 4.5 over 45.5. The Pats come into this game with their defense largely carrying them through the playoffs. The offense has not looked nearly as good as it did in the regular season, but in the regular season, Drake May led the league in completion percentage and yards per attempt, which is just a super impressive combo. He's not just dinking the ball down low, he's pressing it down the field, and he also doesn't have a ton of great receivers while doing that as well. And the Pats are a super well-balanced team, but they might be going up against an even better, more well-balanced team. It's kind of just hard to find many holes on the Seahawks team. They were the only team to rank top 3 in both scoring, offense, and defense. And the offense can be extremely explosive with JSN and Shaheed, but the defense is probably the strongest suit of this team. They led the NFL in points allowed, third down defense, yards per rush, yards per pass attempt allowed. And then they also have this going for them. The NFL teams with the number 1 scoring defense going into the Super Bowl are an all-time 14-4. I think it kind of shows defense wins championships. May also has 5 turnovers in 3 playoff games here. I think the Seahawks can force at least one, and they might have to if Darnold ends up having one himself, like we kind of talked about earlier. I also agree with you. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to have an exceptional game. I don't think he's going to have a bad game, though. I think as long as he just kind of plays solid, efficient football and the defense does the rest and he kind of gets those timely passes to JSN and then Kenneth Walker has a solid game as well. I think they win this one kind of handedly, not blowing them out, but taking care of the Pats relatively easy and not super sweating it out at the end. So I'm going Seahawks hoist the Lombardi. And then I'm also right there with you. I did already bet JSN to win MVP. So JSN is my MVP at plus 500.
All right. So we're both going Seahawks. We're both going JSN as the MVP. Are you able to throw that in a parlay? Be interested to see that real quick. So you figure most people take the Seahawks. I'll probably take Darnold. You cannot parlay those two together. That's kind of stupid, but it is what it is. But all right, we both are going Seahawks. We're both going JSN. I got the Seahawks, the Patriots covering. You got the Seahawks covering. I'm going with the under. You're going with the over. So a little bit of parity there. But I love our touchdown parlay. Definitely going to be throwing that in at 70-1. Throw a fiver on that and hopefully cash out big. But been a fun season, everyone. Thank you for tuning in each and every week. It's hard to believe it's already over, but September will be here before we know it, and next season we'll be ready. Always a sad day here, but it's always been fun. Thanks, Kev, for joining us every week. Thanks, everyone who's tuned in all year. Appreciate it. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday. We'll still be around doing some videos throughout the next few weeks, recapping some stuff. But thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and we'll talk soon.